pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Your neighbor needs a piece and
I'm gonna get hold of
gonna do it.
As you can see, Lee's not here today, so. The first thing we have is the consent agenda.
Go ahead. You go ahead, I'll check.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Thanks.
Moved and seconded for the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? In favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Brought back up this case.
Yeah, apparently.
I haven't had a chance to introduce the Madam Chair and board. Under Sheriff Andy Varian, he's been there since December. I've been meaning to get him in. We just haven't connected. So just brought him in to kind of see the process and welcome.
It's a lot of fun.
These are all over the case, right? So, Ward, I appreciate you having us here. Wanted to discuss an option. We have a gentleman, as you know, you're familiar with our detention center, the turnover, and we're in the process of hiring a couple right now. So we have one of my sergeants going to retire. He wants to retire in December. His wife wants him to retire now. He's holding out to help us and work with us a little bit on get some more people on board. So what I wanted to request and try to see if we can do is overhire by one right now. With the way the budget is and the lack of the hire we've had, it's not going to impact our budget negatively. It will still come within. But to go ahead and start working on that, it's probably going to take us a couple of months anyway to get that person on board. But to go ahead and overhire by one, and it's a temporary thing, hopefully. It may be something we look at if it works, if we have upcoming known retirements coming up, and then we request this again. So at this time, I would request to overhire by one, and then also get permission to advance somebody into that sergeant position when he does retire. Right now, our structure is 4 squads, 1 sergeant per squad. So they're rotating 12-hour shifts. So we have a sergeant per squad right now. So it would be my request to advance one person, an overhire by one, and then also to get permission to move somebody up to that sergeant position.
The overhire by one is 1 full-time position.
Correct.
But with the way your budget's been sitting and things, the way they've been happening, it will not affect your bottom line right now.
No, even if we were to hire somebody tomorrow, by my calculations of the amount of down people we've been position-wise, but this again, it's going to take us a month or 2 to get that person hired. So, but if we were to hire that one person today, we would not make it the effective budget.
Okay. Any questions? Sure.
As far as hiring people for detention, does that mostly come out of Douglas, or do you get some locally that you hire and then you have to ship them off for training? How does that?
So it all depends. If we were to hire somebody locally, in the state that was hired detention, we do not have to send them to the academy. We have never really hired anybody out of the academy per se. Very few people put themselves through the academy as far as the detention. They do, however, in the POV, the patrol officers, some people put themselves through. We recently have a conditional offer on 2 people. They're actually 2 brothers out of California. They're in corrections out there, have been in there for I think 6 and then 8 years. So they will possibly be able to challenge that. And so they may have to do 2 weeks is all. That's what we're hoping anyway. And then we have the one person that we hired that didn't show up to work. We went through all that, and they gave them their uniform and they didn't show up, and have since turned in all their clothes. But typically, we're going to have to sign up.
Did you get the uniform back?
And there is an agreement if they go through the academy and don't stay, then the cost for the academy, they would have to reimburse.
3 years. So if they don't stay for 3 years, they reimburse the cost of the academy, the cost of the psych eval, physical, everything else associated with that, ammunition for the academy, all that.
Madam Chair, real quick, for more of my education benefit here, my question is, we pretty much already agreed that department heads, especially elected officials, can hire, replace, as long as they're within their budget.
I appreciate you coming in, I do, and is there something I don't know about, as far as I'm concerned, how many people you have, have you been curtailed by the commission somewhat as to the number of deputies or detention officers? I mean, I feel you should be able to run your department as you see as an elected official, and with that, I guess, my question is, do we have a say in it? And how?
The way it's been worded in the past is existing positions, and the clerk's office, everybody keeps track of how many positions the department has, and he has so many detention positions. He's asking to go one above that, so it's not a replacement, it's an additional position. Even though at this point, it's not gonna affect his budget, if he was completely fully staffed and needed to come in or needed another detention officer, then it would go ahead. Well, it kind of depends on how it rolls, but it is above the number of positions
And
that.
that is what we do control?
And if I may, I mean, certainly I could sit there and just do it over. I mean, I could go and just hire this person.
No, I appreciate you coming in, I just wondered.
Yeah, I mean, what I would have to do is, if we get an additional position, I mean, I would have to get that approved for budgetary reasons. I just felt that you guys understand kind of the situation, if we just, one up this temporarily.
Right.
Because certainly I don't feel we need an additional person over what our staffing level is. I think we're solid there.
Right.
We just need to kind of get ahead of the curve and get somebody rolling, because, and it might be between now and December when he leaves, somebody else, we don't know. I do know we have, at least one Cody PD position opening in December, that's a no. Will we lose somebody then? Who knows? Possibly two positions on the Cody PD, maybe, so. We're just trying to get rolling.
Well, my comment would be that, regardless if it's not going to affect his budget, I have absolutely no problem with anything he wants to
Gonna make a motion, or you want
do.
me?
I don't think we need a motion to allow it to hire.
Probably
It's
should.
an action item.
Okay, well, I move we allow Scott to add a temporary employment position, if you will, for stay within his budget.
Independent.
Say,
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay.
Appreciate your time, thank you very much.
you bet, thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know why you need it back.
Okay, next on our agenda is consideration and approval of the updated Park County Land Use Plan RFP.
Good morning.
Morning.
I sent you a draft of the request for proposals for the updated land use plan. I don't know if you have any changes or if you wish to just release it as it is.
And Chair, no, I don't have any problem with it. My question is the insurance edition? I know it was recommended. Is this something that consultants normally carry anyway? I know as a contractor, I do. You do, but it's a little different
Yeah,
occupation than what I'm used to. So
I would say anybody who is bidding on large dollar projects probably has it.
probably does.
Yeah.
Have you reached out to any of, I mean, I guess if we get to that point, I just hate to
Yeah.
narrow our
simply-
field.
Yeah, I simply pulled it out of the procurement policy. It's part of our requirement, but it's your discretion if you
Have
want
you
to. include it.
contacted any of the consultants to ask if they do carry this type of insurance?
I have not. So I just know it does say that contractors and other service providers, and that's essentially what we're seeking.
Right, yeah, but it's more of a consult, I mean, consultant is, to me, is different than a service. I know it falls under that category. That's what I'm worried that it may, they can always add a policy. I guess that's what's advised.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but any company that can handle this type of job, right, is gonna have insurance, this is already, I'm sure of that.
Well, that would be my thought, especially with the travel. I mean, if we're
Yeah.
expecting them to be here and if they have employees traveling and doing that kind of stuff, I would assume that they have some insurance, and some of the insurance listed with, general liability and then automobile liability and workers' comp, the kind of things that we don't want to have them in the middle of the project and have something go wrong and not have the insurance to take care of it. Okay. Anything else? Anything else that jumped out at anybody?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the RFP for the land use plan to go out. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Great.
Thanks for all your work on that, Joy. You know, we appreciate it.
Absolutely. And just FYI, just so it's on the record, the proposals will be due October 22nd at 3 p.m. So,
They'll be coming to us.
yes, ma'am.
And here, on this subject, we need to somehow, can we do it in the next meeting, put together a work to select a committee?
Sure, we've got till that October 22nd, so I'll talk to our chairman about putting it on the 20th or the first meeting in October.
Thank you.
Susan?
Yeah, I've got it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
well, one more question, Joy. What time did you say?
3 p.m.
3 p.m.
Okay, a little bit ahead of schedule. I don't know that I guess these two guys are here. That's the only ones I thought might be here today. So the next thing on the agenda is for discussion on lifting the Park County fire restrictions. The resolution that we previously put in place. We have a letter here from Jerry. Thank you for coming over to talk about that. We know that the Forest Service and the BLM have both lifted their restrictions. Is there any discussion necessary? What's the pleasure of the board?
Madam Chair, with the support of with Jerry and Mr. Parker, as well as following suit with the public lands within Park County, I move to let fire restrictions resolution 2021-38. I'll second that effective immediately.
Moved and seconded to remove the restrictions listed in resolution 2021-38. Any further discussion?
The only discussion I have is still awful dry out there, and I would encourage people to remain very cautious.
Second that.
Being as the BLM land, the report I had yesterday was back into extremes. So the danger is still there, but with cooler weather and the rain,
Still expecting the public to be cautious.
yes.
You spend the whole summer with your fingers crossed.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've been fortunate
Yes.
in the county this year.
Well, I think, Madam Chair, with this, I don't, the fact that we are in a heck of a drought, there's not the fuel that could be due to the dryness as well. I think you'll agree that because of the drought, we don't have the vegetation out there, so the fuel levels are low, and so therefore I support.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you.
Glad I came early.
Yeah.
See you guys, thanks.
Our next thing is actually not until 10:15, and it is a subdivision that we may have planned over here for, so we probably have to take a break.
Are we gonna have a 25-minute break, or are we gonna move, because that's, the roping is not a public hearing.
No, but I don't want the landowners to hear about. Let me check with Kim.
Madam Chair, at some point, I want to have a discussion about the event coordinator position that we're filling.
Okay. Hang on a second.
How we do that. I wanted to talk about events coordinator position.
Well, that's something I would like to discuss too, if we really haven't discussed.
No.
That'd be a good idea.
With, I don't know what that has to be.
Well, we can
Executive
go
session,
ahead.
or can we? Open session, I don't know, it's an employee. How does that work?
Don't look at me. I think as long as you probably don't use names, you're probably okay. It's the position we're talking about. Has the position been filled? Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't, as long as you don't use names. What do you think, Dawson? Does it have to be an executive session?
If we're only talking about the position itself, no. If we're talking about people, yes.
Well, I'm talking about people
Then we need to do it in executive session.
that are in mind.
Um,
Does it have to be advertised and wait till next meeting then?
you can make a motion for it. Don't do it right now. Let's get through this subdivision first because we don't know how long it's going to take. Then you could make a motion for an executive session if it's for personnel. If it gets seconded, then we can.
Good. Okay.
We're gonna go at 10. We're gonna take a 10-minute break and go at 10 with that subdivision. Kim thinks the surveyor might be coming, but he said he could move it up a little bit if they come.
Okay.
So
Great.
let's do that. Take a 10-minute break.
I'll go get some coffee. Good.
They hire a sports guy, yeah.
Yeah, we hired one. This was sort of the 16th year one day we hired.
Where's he from?
Portland.
Portland, have a newspaper. Oh, did
It used to be a daily up until 2 years ago.
Oh, that's right, they did have a daily.
Yeah, they just slam it full of AP
Yeah,
content, and now it's weekly.
why was he leaving Moreland?
He was a news reporter and he's looking to.
Oh, okay.
He's a former Kelly Walsh, Western
Oh.
Wyoming Community College soccer player. I guess he refs too.
It's,
Soccer.
the Carson already moved?
Yeah, he left, I think, Thursday.
Yeah, so, yeah, everything was great, well, except for my driving problem. I said, well, you're not the first one.
Yeah.
That's how Toby met his wife. Didn't go to school.
You're hot on the.
The,
He's not the Carson fit in quickly in the community. So,
Yeah,
just one of those likable guys.
yeah. And he's been around. Peel out, be a sophomore game, peel out parts.
Oh, yeah, man.
Super nice dude.
So I don't think it's gonna close that. That's what I want.
Now, see, I tried to call Cody Shocks, the surveyor, I couldn't get him.
It's Cody.
Usually the surveyor will come if nobody else, but,
Okay.
I don't think this landowner came to P and Z.
Okay.
And I don't think they'd be upset if you went ahead without them.
Unless we say no.
Famous last words.
Yeah, I was gonna say, unless we say no.
Yeah. Yeah, unless you have a question that only they can answer.
The wind sounds appropriate up there in Florida.
Yeah. It does. Or tempting.
Cursing the wind.
Yeah, cursing.
A little bit of truth in advertising, maybe.
And when you're talking about Copperleaf, what happened to the neighbors? Did they see a reduction in their well water then? They did?
Do it after.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because the two
Yeah, it
wells.
was real quiet. I want to have a couple drinks. So I can-
You know,
How was it?
Oh, it was on Wednesday.
Yeah,
Went back there.
yeah.
It rained on Wednesday, it rained all day.
When he gets back.
Did you get there, you were there after the, right up?
Yeah, so I got there a week ago Sunday, and then I left on Friday. And Wednesday, when the hurricane came
What is
through,
the coffee?
and last Wednesday, it rained all day long.
So you were there.
Maybe check through or-
Yeah, when it came through.
Was it as the news sound?
Well, I think it sounds like they got more rain in like New Jersey and New York City. I don't know when they got there in Maryland, but it rained all day. Now in the morning, it was just kind of light, but then, in the afternoon, it was pretty heavy. But not a lot of wind, no tornadoes or anything like that. Oh, it was good. Yeah, it was a lot of stuff. A lot of.
Yeah. If you get one of the neighbors,
You're in this.
email. Yeah, I'm leaving tomorrow. The latest on track. But I can hopefully expect.
Well, the main thing is,
All the.
We back up.
And they cover a lot of coastal stuff, which obviously doesn't apply to us. But coastal issues are a big deal.
Yes, sir. Well, they, endangered species on the coast. Oh, yes. Or we deal with out here. So everybody goes, yeah.
Which area?
The environment.
Oh, okay.
Endangered species as far as. That's the biggest opposition.
Oh, yeah.
Seems to be, we're back there, I suppose they are.
You were hiking?
Same thing.
Oh.
Different type of environment.
They got
I still have, may not have grizzly bears, I guess some fish.
And more, I guess just more people, more issues, more density. They, this problem I say is the flip flop.
the chest building is being carried.
I know.
What they'll prioritize.
Excuse me, yes.
So by the time they got it all kind of processed,
Yeah, and different administrations will prioritize different things. I know.
Happy reading.
Oh, before next Tuesday, Wednesday.
The 15th, yeah.
Wednesday. These are the proposals for the health providers.
Oh, okay. God, I bet that's.
Oh, it's good reading, I'm sure.
It's very informative.
What if it's about?
Wink, wink. It's a good thing you get paid overtime.
Oh, yeah, overtime. Ugh. Cody, I don't think Cody's ever early, but he's usually not too late. Not for time, so, the wheel, is he coming back or? Oh, it's 10 o'clock. Okay, so we moved up on the agenda, the roping in, simple subdivision, final plat.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair. So this is final plat review for this simple subdivision. The applicant is Jerry Woodward. This property is in the GR20 zoning district. The planning area is Clark. We did receive an application on August 25th for this subdivision. The requested action is, of course, to approve this final plat. It will be a one lot simple subdivision. That one lot will be just over 9 acres for residential use. And should this be approved, this creation of this one lot will leave a remaining parcel of 48.8 acres. You saw the final plat figure 1. The location, we have this shown in figure 2. We have it located approximately, we counted the miles from northwest of Ralston. Of course, this is in the Clark area. It's on the western side of Clark. It's about 6 miles northwest of Belfry Highway. And the property is just west of County Road 8UB, and it has an address of, actually 2 addresses of 189 and 191 Road 8UB. And again, you saw in figure 2, you saw that final plat. This, as I mentioned, this is in the GR20 zoning district. The applicant, what they would like to do, what they've done, is actually to use lot size averaging. And I just want to mention, our regs allow lot size averaging, obviously with lots, but also with parcels. Because what we did was lot size average using with the one lot and that remaining parcel. And so to create a lot smaller than 20 acres, which is what they did. And I just want to say that this parcel, the remaining parcel and the lot, should this be created, both of those comply with our standards for sizes for lot size averaging.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, yeah, go ahead.
I guess the thing that's unclear to me is if this is considered a subdivision
Yes,
and we have lot 1
yes.
and we're using lot size averaging, I would think the other parcel, no matter what size it is, would need to be lot 2 or identified that way so that there is a future tracking on what happened there.
So our regs say a parcel can be used for lot size averaging. Our regs also say that a lot is any creation smaller than 35 acres. And in this case, that remainder is 48. So according to our regulations, this parcel can be used for lot size averaging, but it cannot be counted as a lot.
Because it's over 30.
Exactly, it's 35 acres or greater, exactly.
I think it just clouds the history a little bit when you look, when we
It
look
does,
back
it
or
does.
somebody looks back on this and we can't figure out how we got that size of a lot out there.
Exactly.
Okay,
And also our regulations, and you saw the language in there, that, so our conclusion is neither this should this be approved, neither this lot that will be created or this remaining parcel, neither of those can be further subdivided.
even the 48.
Yeah, because I'll just, when a parcel is divided or subdivided using lot size averaging, so that the maximum number of lots are created, no lot or parcel shall be further subdivided. And so right now, this property is, let me see, 48, and it's just over 58 acres, which means to divide it in GR20, all you can create are 2 pieces. So more than 2 pieces cannot be created. So our conclusion is this parcel that will be created cannot be further subdivided. Yeah, this one's kind of messy.
By the same owner, but if they sell that 48, then it could be subdivided.
Our conclusion is that under our current regs, it cannot be subdivided again.
It's interesting.
And we asked the surveyor to put that language on the final plat. Which you.
That'd be hard to track.
Yeah, so it will be. It's confusing. Neighboring land uses, I'm on page 5. Neighboring land uses, primary residential and agricultural. What this 58 that they want to divide was the remaining parcel from the Johnson simple subdivision that was created some time ago. I forget when, but that was also a 1-lot simple subdivision. Site characteristics, this property slopes gradually northwest to southeast. This parcel currently has 2 residential units and 4 accessory uses on it. You see in figure 5, it shows the topography. This property does not require municipal review because it's not within a mile of any cities. Public hearing, of course, is not required because this is a final plat. We had notified agencies, of course, that happened even before the P&Z meeting. Of course, you haven't had a chance to see any of this, so I just wanted to mention some of these agency notices. We did notify Clark Volunteer Fire Department. They said they can provide fire protection. Park County Public Works, they submitted 2 reviews. First, an email. They recommend for the easement that is at first share that splits. They recommended that be 60 feet. You saw in the plat, the applicant just wants that to be 40 feet. My understanding is that's good with Public Works. They're okay with that. I think they recommended the 60 should there be any further subdivisions, but of course we know now there can't be. They mentioned in their letter from July 9th of this year, an access and utility easement has not been shown on the sketch plan. That is now shown on the final plat. They talked about, again, the 60-foot easement. And they said they will not require runoff and erosion control plan. Post office said they'll be able to provide, no, they do provide mail service. Park County School District 1 said they'll be able to provide bus service. There was an email from Nemont. Evidently, that is the internet phone service provider in that location. They talked about having service already. Treasurer's office said taxes are paid. Beartooth Electric said they currently have service to both of the residences. We did get a soil report from the Conservation District. Whedon Pass, Mary did a visit, and based on what she found, circumstances, she will not require a weed management plan. We've not received any public comments. Planning and zoning looked at this and recommended approval on August 18th of this year with these conditions. And you'll notice their recommended condition number 2 talks about further subdividing not being allowed. And again, that is a condition on the plat. Plat Review Committee looked at this electronically on August 30th, had some corrections and some changes. We received the final corrected version on September 1st, which is the version you saw. Bottom of page 8, we have just submissions for final plat review. All those things have been met. Top of page 9, a paragraph talking about final plat review. We have, Madam Chair, we have some findings, and we also have just 2 conditions that we're recommending. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions?
My only question is, what happened from the original time it was requested to be a minor subdivision and that turned into a simple? What changed that? Explain that to me.
So my memory is what I remember when we first maybe talked about this, it seems like there was some discussion of taking this, I think it's about 58-acre parcel for, and Well, as it stands right now, as the parcel exists right now, I think it's just over 58 acres.
Okay, okay.
There was talk of making two pieces that were each greater than 20 acres. So at that time, we had classified it as a minor. And then at some point, it changed to make the smaller lot. And then this bigger piece, 48 acres. And at first, I think we were still in the mindset of calling it a minor, but then we looked at that and we said, oh, a 48 acre piece cannot be a lot. So then we changed it to
Because
a
the
simple.
parcel size, that's exactly your
Yes.
question, is what switched it from a minor to a civil.
Yeah, and because we had to count that lot that was created with the Johnson simple subdivision, so at first we were counting 3 lots. When this became just a 1 lot, then it would, in the tract of record, it would only be 2 lots being created. So now this became a 1 lot simple.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a little complicated.
Wonder why we're updating the land use plan. No, we do all this. It's a little bit wild. Are there any other questions this time? It's not a public hearing, but if there's any other comments, concerns?
I'll move it through.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the roping land simple subdivision. Further discussion?
The only thing I just want to add, I do know this property, and I will say, if you look at figure 2, it borders to the north or to the south of major subdivisions, Shiny Mountain. It was put in place before zoning, and there's multiple lots there. So even though this is a smaller parcel, with lot size averaging, the smaller parcels aren't going to stand out right next to this.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, passes.
Thanks.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
We're running a little
guys.
early, so.
Hey, can I visit with you just a minute, just real quick?
65, 2021,
Yes.
21, 21, 20, 21, 65.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Madam Chair, I'd like to request an executive session for personnel. That we motion.
Okay, you did, and Scott seconded. Okay, all those in favor of executive session personnel, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Okay,
Hold on, I got to put it on
Okay.
pause.